The billionaire mother who pretended to be a cleaner. Mrs. Angela was one of the richest women in the city. She owned hotels, schools, and even an airline. But her biggest worry was her only son, Chidi. Chidi was handsome, smart, and gentle. But he refused to marry. Every girl who came close to him seemed to be more interested in his money than in him. One day, Mrs. Angela sat in her golden living room and thought of a plan. If these girls only see our wealth, then I must hide it. I will disguise myself and find the one who loves my son for who he is. The next week, she dressed in an old gown, tied a faded scarf on her head, wore rubber slippers, and smeared powder on her face to look older. She went to Chidi's company and got a job as a cleaner. Nobody knew she was the owner's mother. She introduced herself as Mama Rose. From her mop and bucket, she quietly studied the ladies in the office. Some ignored her, some shouted at her, and some even made her clean their coffee spills without saying thank you. But one girl stood out: Ada Aura, the new receptionist. Ada Aura was kind. She always greeted Mama Rose, offered her snacks, and even helped her carry heavy water buckets. One rainy day, when Mama Rose slipped on the wet floor, Ada Aura rushed to help, getting her own clothes dirty. Mrs. Angela smiled inside. This one has a good heart. Weeks passed. Chidi, who usually stayed in his private office, started noticing Ada Aura too. She didn't know he was the boss's son. She thought he was just a quiet junior manager. They began to talk, and slowly, something beautiful started to grow between them. One Friday evening, Chidi invited Ada Aura to lunch. Mama Rose secretly followed, wiping tables nearby and listening with one ear. She saw the way Ada Aura laughed freely, not caring about expensive food or clothes, only enjoying Chidi's company. Finally, Mrs. Angela decided it was time to reveal the truth. She called Ada Aura to the big conference room the next Monday. Ada Aura walked in and gasped. There was Mama Rose, no longer in a cleaner's uniform but in a dazzling gold dress, diamonds shining on her neck. Next to her stood Chidi, smiling. "My dear," Mrs. Angela said gently, "I am not just a cleaner. I am Chidi's mother. I pretended to be a cleaner because I wanted to see your true heart. And I have seen it. You are kind, humble, and sincere. You didn't love my son for money, but for who he is. Will you marry him?" Ada Aura was shocked. "Mama RPSE. Mean Mrs. Angela, this is like a dream." Chidi took her hand. "It's real, Ada Aura. And I want to spend my life with you." Tears filled Ada Aura's eyes as she nodded. Mrs. Angela clapped her hands, and the office staff who had been hiding to watch cheered loudly. A month later, the wedding was the talk of the city. Everyone admired the billionaire mother who found the perfect daughter-in-law by pretending to be the humblest worker in the building. And so, they all lived happily ever after, proving that love, not money, is the real treasure.